Nvidia had a pretty flat day today. We can see the stock is pretty much flat. On today's episode, what I want to do is take a closer look at some updates impacting the overall stock. First, we do have pretty big earnings this week. So I want to take a closer look at some of the earnings I'm pretty excited about. Then we do have some updates of Nvidia in different aspects of the AI market. So let's take a closer look in today's episode.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right, so let's start off with overall earnings that are coming out this week. And I think Tuesday or tomorrow, depending on when you're watching this video, I'll post it Monday night. But on Tuesday, after the market closes, we do have three companies that I believe can definitely move Nvidia one way or another. The first company is going to be Amazon. Obviously, here we have another cloud server provider. And we've heard from all the other big cloud server providers last week that they are going to continue to invest heavily in AI infrastructure, and either somehow increase maybe their capex or just continue to focus in the AI space. So I personally believe that Amazon is going to do something very similar. Now the real question is if they kind of change it up and tell us, hey, look, we're increasing capex dramatically, that can definitely be very, very bullish for Nvidia. I don't believe it's going to go the other way around like we're seeing right now. All the other players are increasing, and to be competitive in this clouding space, you're going to continue to have you need to have the best AI chips, right? So I think Amazon, what we're really hoping for is to continue to hear the sentiment that we've heard from all the other big tech players that they're going to continue to spend on AI infrastructure. Talking about AI infrastructure, we do have Supermicro after the market closes. This one is going to be another popular one, as obviously Supermicro is definitely benefiting from the AI space right now. So Supermicro, for those that are not familiar, they provide kind of data center solutions, servers for big cloud server providers. And obviously most of their money is coming from AI servers, which are pretty much NVIDIA chips. Or servers with NVIDIA chips. So Supermicro kind of reports earnings tomorrow. We do know that they didn't kind of give us an update to their guidance, and some might have seen that as a yellow flag a few weeks ago, where we saw Supermicro take a dip. Let's just take a closer look at the overall stock right now. So Supermicro was up about 4%. Year to date, the stock is dominating, up over 200%. But we can see from its yearly high, the stock is down roughly 25%. So I think from Supermicro, we're going to continue to hear that, hey, look, we got that confirmation that CapEx is high. So Supermicro, in theory, is going to report great earnings based on the demand for AI solutions. Now, the only thing that might be worrisome, in my opinion, are two things. The first thing is, if you are a Supermicro shareholder, you do know that there's competitors in this space, and Supermicro is fighting kind of a margin war at the time. So let's see how that pressure has been adding up in the past few months, in the past few quarters. Maybe we might see more of a margin hit. The second thing, which I don't think is a scenario, but just a possibility, the only thing that I can see hurting the stock is maybe they mentioned something about their manufacturing lines being impacted by something, by some phenomena, right? So I think for Supermicro, we're expected to have a very, very strong earnings. Now on Tuesday, we also have AMD. So AMD obviously has NVIDIA's competitor, the MI300. So we're most likely going to hear a little bit more about that. I think investors are going to hope that AMD maybe re-ups their guidance of, hey, last quarter they said that at least $3.5 billion from the MI300 this year. That might change, especially if we're hearing reports that AMD might release the MI350 in the second half of this year. So I think investors are more curious about the AI GPU side for AMD, as obviously Intel recently just did earnings last week, and for the CPU market, both in the client and the server space, weren't the best hit. So unless AMD can showcase that, hey, look, Intel has their own problems and AMD is actually gaining here, then I think what really are if people are excited is just more number updates on the MI300X. Now, On Wednesday, I want to say we don't have too much. Maybe Qualcomm, if you are a semiconductor investor, you want to learn more about the semiconductor space, Qualcomm would be a good one. On Thursday, I am personally excited for Apple because we are hearing that they're making more of a push into the AI space. So obviously, if they're doing that, they must be investing in infrastructure one way or another, and that infrastructure could definitely be Nvidia chips. So while I could care less about anything about Apple, they are obviously a huge consumer player here. And if they're able to really bring AI to the market, if they're able to, if there's a company that's really going to be able to bring AI to the consumer space, I think Apple can definitely be that company. So I'm going to be more curious about capex of kind of AI solutions, of kind of AI infrastructure. So that's the one I'm definitely going to keep a closer eye out. And I think those are the only ones that can really, really move the stock for Nvidia one way or another this week. Before we go any further, we are now on the road to 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Thank you all for the crazy support. So if you haven't and are enjoying the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button. Finally, if you want to support the channel a little bit more, make sure to check out my special offer at fool.com/Jose. Now back to today's episode. Now let me know in the comments below, which one are you guys watching the most, and which one should I do an earnings review over? Now let's take a closer look at some updates impacting the overall stock. Kind of talking about Qualcomm, there are rumors that Qualcomm is entering into the ARM-based server processor. And for those that are not familiar, Qualcomm just recently released a ARM-based CPU for the AI market, and that's expected to come out for NPCs in the second half, or I believe in the summer of this year. So now they're pushing into the CPU server side based on these rumors. I've talked about it in the past. Right now, the CPU space is getting a lot of competition from not only x86 players, so Intel versus AMD. You have big tech kind of creating their own CPU solutions, and then you also have a lot of other players creating ARM-based solutions. And we're seeing this is not only for the client side, it's also for the processor side. Now, we do have another report that came out a little bit late last week that Samsung reportedly signed a $3 billion deal with HBM3E with AMD. So just a quick backtrack, HBM3E is the next generation of HBM3. HBM3 is a form of memory that is used on AI chips. So HBM3 is kind of the updated version. So based on this, Samsung has signed this agreement to supply AMD with this HBM memory, which is important, right? Because it helps with supply chain issues. In reportedly, Samsung has also agreed to purchase AMD GPUs in exchange for HBM products. So we talked about AMD having earnings this upcoming week on Tuesday. So if these reports are true, it can definitely be beneficial for AMD's MI300 revenue indicated for this year. So now talking about AI chips, Elon posted this on Saturday, I believe, or Sunday morning, it seems, that Tesla will spend around $10 billion this year in combined training and inferencing AI. Obviously, Tesla creates their own AI chips, but they do purchase a lot of NVIDIA's H100. And the great thing here is some of you might be thinking, Jose, $10 billion is not a lot. Microsoft is kind of investing that almost on a quarterly basis, same as Google. So this is not a lot of bulk money. Remember, those are two different companies. All those are cloud server providers that need to have AI infrastructure for their solutions, for their clouding solution. Tesla is expected to invest that much in kind of AI capex in just for themselves, right? For their own solution. So imagine any other big company out there right now that's really focusing in the AI space. They alone are probably spending a few $1 billion as well per year. And Elon does mention any company not spending at this level and doing so efficiently cannot compete. So we definitely see that the AI space is here to stay, that if you really want to continue to evolve your product, it means you need to invest heavily in AI chips. And that's obviously very, very bullish for Nvidia. We also saw reports of a price target. Milius Research raises price target on Nvidia to $1,125 from $1,000 and maintains a buy rating. The main reason is because right now AI we saw, right, big clouds are increasing the demand for NVIDIA GPUs as they are spending more on CapEx. If you've been following this channel, you would have known this news before this analyst came out of it. We've been talking about CapEx growth for at least the past week. The other thing that he does mention, or the analyst mentions, is that data intensive video is now becoming a standard input for training, and creating videos needs a ton of GPUs for inferencing. So obviously, we're seeing kind of this new move of not just text generation, of not just image generation, but video generation, and also using videos to train. And that needs a lot of computational power. So he's saying that as AI continues to evolve, the amount of computational power that you need increases, which is obviously going to bode well for NVIDIA GPUs. So I think overall, we do have a pretty exciting week for NVIDIA. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Take care, have a good day, and see you all next time.